Hello there, and welcome to the Weekend Eve. I am Brian Kress, the awesome voice. This is Any Given Sunday. I am here with the producer and the man who runs the show, Mr. George Walker, DJ Scatter. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Well, since you almost forgot my name, I'm doing.
I had to do it backwards.
I'm doing just fine here. Thank you.
I know we have been off a few weeks. In fact, the last time that we were on the show was, I believe, the Thursday before the Super Bowl. So it's been roughly 5 weeks, or four or 5 weeks. So it's been a couple of weeks now. My brother with another mother, Coach 24, Darwin Penny, is not here tonight. He is, he works for the Royals. He is a scout, and that's what he is doing. He does that very well, and so he is out and about trying to get some players for the Royals so they can start winning. And when they put in the new stadium, whether it's downtown or in a couple of other places that I will be mentioning, we need to have some players so we can have a good team. So I know that we have been struggling, and the preseason right now says, their record says they're doing pretty good. The World Baseball Classic is starting up this weekend. The brackets are starting this weekend. The free agency in the NFL is starting this weekend. We've got a lot of sports going on. So definitely want to talk about that. First, I want to mention that Bill Self, I guess, had some type of ailment to where he was at KU Medical Center. He was checked up, and I just heard this as I was off work today and headed home to get my jersey, which I will show you a little bit later and everything. He will be in the hospital for a couple of days and will not be at the Big 8 or the Big 12 championship games that are at I want to say Kipper Arena, and then I want to say the Sprint Center, but it's at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, across from the Power and Light District. And Kansas, they've pretty much sealed up a number 1 seed. Whether you like them or not, they have played well. I don't know if they will be the overall number 1 seed. I will say this. If they make it to the championship game without Bill Self, then I believe that they will be the number 1 seed overall. You've got Kansas, you've got Houston, and I want to say Arizona, and there is one other team offhand that I cannot think of right now. I am drawing a blank. So I have been a little under the weather this past week, and then I bowled in a tournament out in Springfield, and usually what I call that tournament is guys weekend, because we don't bowl very well, and we just go and we have a good time. And so we are doing that. Now, I will say Frank Hahn and his son Drake did very well in the doubles. They, with Drake having some handicap and well needed, they shot 14-24 together, and I believe that put them in second place after our time Sunday morning. Actually, it was about noon by the time we were done and ready to head home. So I congratulate them. Hopefully, they will. I think the last 2 years they were that score ended up being in like 7th place and 11th place the last 2 years. So they got a great shot, and I'm saying it lightly that they can be in the top 20. It's the Greater Ozark Tournament. It's down in Springfield. They bowl at Sunshine and Enterprise. And so they do this every single weekend. I believe this is weekend number 4 coming up. So we bowled weekend 3 of the tournament, and they will do this every single weekend up until around June, and I believe just before 4th of July. So and you can only bowl it once. So like if I have a team that says, hey, we need you to bowl, can you come bowl with us? I can't do it. And after bowling the the 9 games that I bowled this past weekend, I don't know if I want to do it again this year anyway. So didn't shoot any games over 200. Just did not do very well. But like I said, our team bowled okay. We were over 3,000, so maybe we can end up in like 400th place and win about $20 or something. But nope, we are doing good with that. Now, saying that, we got Bill Self, we got this. Mr. Walker, if you had a job and within, I'll be in 30 years, you could make a 5,100% raise, would you go for it?
Yeah, as long as I didn't start off at like a nickel. But if I was making anywhere like 15 or 20 or $30 an hour, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that's what John Calipari has done. He started off.
And who is John Calipari?
Now, John Calipari is the head basketball coach of the Kentucky Wildcats of the SEC. He started off 1988 playing or coaching for Massachusetts, and I remember that because I believe they were in the AAC. They were in the same conference as Temple, and John. Oh my gosh, I can't think. I could see his face. Who was that head coach at Temple? John. Oh my gosh, I could picture him. I can't think of him right now, but that was when coaching and basketball was really good because. Saying this in a footnote, Patrick Ewing got fired today as the head coach of the Georgetown Hoyas. And I remember Patrick Ewing. I remember watching Patrick Ewing play college basketball in the 80s at the time where Akeem Olajuwon and Missouri, the Stefanovic and Sunvold and Ricky Frazier era, and a lot of people go, well, what about 94? And 94 was good too. Javon Crudup led that team, and he is phenomenal, and he is a friend of mine. So, but the 82-83 Missouri team is the team that I think about when I see that, and I was in high school at that time. But Calipari in '88 was the head coach of Massachusetts, and then in I believe 1992 he made $325,000 a year, which is pretty doggone good. I'd take it right now. And now it looks like his salary is his base salary is school pays $8.5 million, and the total pay, because he gets a max, looks like a max bonus, $50,000. So he, but it doesn't look right. But he get bonuses. The bonuses he got paid was $50,000 in 2021 and 2022, or maybe that was that last year. But his school buyout, as in April 1, 2023, get this, $41,343,750. That's the school buyout. That's to buy him out. I just don't get it. I don't think that he is that great of a coach. I mean, yeah, he is taken some teams to the Final Four. I don't even know if he's even won I think he's won one championship. I think him and Jim Boeheim have won as many titles as with of each other. One, and I'm trying to think, because I know that he lost in 2008, of course, to Kansas, whereas Boeheim actually won in 2003 when he had Carmelo Anthony, and they beat the Kansas Jayhawks in the championship game, and that was when the Kansas teams had pretty good players, and I can't remember them offhand. I get old, so but anyway.
Well, so one day we'll have us a statistician here.
Oh, there we go. I would definitely like to do that. I would have loved to have done, if I would have, I did go to school. I did not graduate, and that is one thing that I truly regret. So people, if you are going to school, try to do whatever it takes to get that education. That education is very, very, very important. But saying that, if I was in school and I could do it all over again, I would do all those stats. I mean, I had the knowledge of the stats. But man, if I could have just gotten on a computer and really did this, my mind would be so incredible right now. And I have probably forgotten more sports stuff than I have remembered in my lifetime. But saying that, I know that there was a lot of other people who were much better. The guy, the Schwab, remember that show? Stump the Schwab, with and Stuart Scott hosted that show, and I love Stuart Scott, man, and rest in peace, my friend. He was amazing, and this guy, I would watch the shows and I would try to see how I could remember some of that, and I do pretty decent, but to do it in front of your television when nobody else was watching, because I had no girlfriends. No girlfriends were going to sit and watch me, watch the show with me and everything. But but his knowledge was just off the chart, and I could get some of that stuff done. I could get some of those answers and. On TV or in front of the TV, but to do it on stage in front of cameras, that's a little bit different. So
I know about that under pressure stage fright.
Oh my gosh! Yes, absolutely. So, but I did love all that, and we're gonna see. Yeah, see, this guy, his first real deal was in '88. He made nothing. but the top 5 coaches right now is, yeah, and I guess based on what they get paid, John Calipari from Kentucky is number 1 at 8.53 million. Bill Self is second at 5.96, so he's almost 6 million. Tom Izzo, the head coach at Michigan State, and yes, Bill Self is the Kansas head coach. For you guys in the Missouri or in the Kansas City, Missouri area that didn't quite know that, which I couldn't see how you did not know that. But Tom Izzo from Michigan State, he makes 5.74 million. Rick Barnes of Tennessee makes 5.45 million dollars, and Bruce Pearl also and he's at Auburn, and Bruce Pearl was at Tennessee just before that, and he makes $5.45 million a year too. So those are the 5 highest paid coaches in NCAA. Now, in 1988-89 at Massachusetts, he made $66,150, and then today he makes 8.5, which is where you get the 5,100% raise. And so in 2019, his record was 750 and 211. So he won 78% of his games. That's pretty good. And his career earnings was $78.9 million. And today, his percentage has dropped. He's at 76.8%. His career record is 831 and 251, and his career earnings is $112.5 million. I'm telling you what, that is just really, really incredible. But we have the NCAA tournament, and right now, I know that down at T-Mobile Center, I know they've got the games playing. I don't know exactly which teams are playing. Oh. Let's see. Kansas opened up play at 2 p.m. Thursday. So they have already played, right? And I'm thinking Kansas is playing later on in the tournament. Here it is. Kansas State, they play theirs at 8:30. So they are the last game of the. No, K-State. No, KU's already played. I'm going to have to see how they have played. So, oh,
Kansas over West Virginia 78-61.
78-61
Yeah, KU
over West Virginia.
over West Virginia.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't have it on here. I'm looking. So, but, so that's one part of sports that we have. We have the NCAA basketball, and that's going to go on until the first weekend in April. And then you've got the NFL. You have the Chiefs. Now, saying this, I have my Nick Bolton jersey, and right here it says the Chiefs, or it says Super Bowl 50, 57 champions. So, yeah, I got my jersey. So, and Bolton was one of the key figures of that game, scoring a touchdown, and actually could have scored a second touchdown if they would have counted that. They had a great game, and I know that we haven't talked about it, and I know it's been talked about a lot because it's been going on for the last month, and there was really no other sports going on, so but football, and they had the parade. The parade was good, and now here's the thing, everybody was complaining about Kansas City having their parade. Drinking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, did you hear of really there was no cars turned, there was no buildings on fire, there were, a lot of having a great time, and there was a little bit of minor stuff,
Yeah, they're celebrating. Most of the crowd was. I mean, the Chiefs player, they're drinking some beers and stuff, and there was some champagne being sent. But that's what are you gonna do?
Right. I mean, if this was Philadelphia, if Philadelphia had beaten the Chiefs instead of losing to the Chiefs, you would have had to have gambled on how many cars got turned over, how many buildings would have been on fire. And you didn't hear that from anybody.
Yeah, from where we were, I was on 18th Street, right in the Crossroads district, and there was no, people were being people. I mean, it's a celebration and stuff, So
exactly,
but it was not any rowdiness in it and stuff. Everything from where we were was all good. I mean, you made 1,000 new friends. Standing out there and stuff. It was. Everybody's talking to everybody, and
right?
All
Absolutely,
of that.
And so everybody's cheering, and I'll bet you anything, if there was like older people, you would let them in front, or the kids.
People weren't.
You didn't keep
right.
them. You didn't keep them in the back, and say, "Oh, well, forget this." This is about the adults. No. Kelsey come up and got pictures with kids, and
there were players walking the streets signing autographs and stuff. They were signing people's jerseys and stuff right there. They were walking up and down the street shaking hands, taking some selfies,
right?
All of that, and everybody was staying. They had their escorts and stuff, but it wasn't a big shove of everybody trying to get up there either and stuff. So I think it was. I've been to both of the parades, and this one was just as nice. I mean, the other one, everybody was too cold to do anything. But
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, but this one was a lot warmer. Not that it was hot, but it was a lot warmer, and people were still pretty well behaved. I mean, we had about one guy who was coming down there. He was tailgating.
There you go. There you go.
He's got a grill out here on the back of his truck, and he's cooking.
There you go.
I said, any excuse,
I wonder if any of the players got some barbecues.
Yeah, that really got me when I saw that. I said, man, he just brought the grill down. He's on the back of the truck.
And so, that's what you hear. And so for the few people that are complaining about, the Chiefs are models and they should really, I'm telling you, what they did was amazing. And I don't care how great of a team you are, like you were expected to win or not expected to win. But to win a Super Bowl is a very, very, very difficult thing to do. And the fact that they've made it to the AFC Championship game 5 years in a row,
that's been such we haven't had this kind of consistent winning, and a lot of teams never have this kind of consistent winning.
No,
I
you
mean,
can
we've,
count on
like
a
you
few
say,
hands.
it's been 5 years, and our division is no pushover.
Right, exactly. I mean,
at all.
I mean, you could talk about San Francisco possibly. You could talk about the Dallas from the '90s. You know, going to 3 Super Bowls.
Oh
Winning three
yeah,
Super
and
Bowls
and the New England
and the
Patriots in the
Patriots.
day, yeah.
But and the Steelers, 4 out of 6. But outside of that, really, who has really done anything like that? Nobody. And they kept saying that every MVP player that played in the Super Bowl lost.
Absolutely.
I mean, they were saying
Yes.
everything against Patrick
The odds
Mahomes,
were against us.
and they were making Jalen Hurts, who had an amazing performance. I mean, look,
It was. It was a Super Bowl. It lived up to the billing of Super Bowl.
exactly, except for the fact that the one tug that everybody was crying about, well, Philadelphia was crying about.
Well, yeah.
You know, but it was a well played game. It was well officiated. Yes, you're going to have a couple of excuse me. You're going to have a couple of, calls,
Questionable calls.
but there wasn't like Don Dickinger calling Orta safe at first when he knew he was out, but
yeah, that was a call that, I mean, it was, you could say it was ticky tacky. It was like,
Right.
yeah, you can call it or you could not call it. Although we were in field goal range, I mean,
right, we were. The only
we were
difference
getting
was
closer.
is that Jalen Hurts would have had an opportunity to try to score a touchdown that would have given them the lead and possibly the win. But saying that, Jalen Hurts played well enough where he could have been the MVP, and a lot of people are even still trying to say that maybe he should have been the MVP. No. The only one was Chuck Howley, and that was because that game was played so bad in Super Bowl V. You had to pick somebody, and he was the best player out of everybody.
Yeah, but I think here in the modern era, there's been a lot of real good Super Bowls.
There has been.
And I think this one ranks up there as two well-matched teams, two well-coached and quarterback teams. I mean, it was just, yeah, you got the ball last. You use the clock as skillfully as you can.
Yep.
And keep the ball out of the other man's hand. It's some people say, well, if he'd had another chance at the ball, but that's what you say about Mahomes. What do most people defend against that? It's just keep it out of his hands.
Exactly.
So if you can keep your defense out there longer, if you can score points, but you don't want Mahomes with the ball.
Right, exactly. And what Jerick McKinnon did, I mean, was amazing.
Yes.
I mean, that was really amazing because,
Heads up
look,
thinking.
if I am running towards the end zone and like 99% of everybody else who would have been running the ball, they would have ran into the end zone. They would have dove
and it's
into
a
the
Super
end zone.
Bowl.
They
And
would
it's a
have
Super Bowl. You know,
Right.
it's so, it's such a fired up time to
Right.
just be able to control yourself that much.
Right, that he did.
You know.
He did it for the team. He
And it's-
didn't do it. I mean, because
And you wonder if he'd have had people where he was pushing against, if he'd have thought about that.
right, exactly.
You know, but he and I know they probably said it in the huddle too, man. Nobody score.
Right.
You know, don't score.
Yeah,
you know,
because
something.
the Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, they prepare for this. I was saying that on our previous show. Look, Andy Reid. And I imagine all the other other NFL coaches do the exact same thing. I'm not saying Andy Reid is the only one, but Andy Reid does a phenomenal job of coaching stuff like that. I mean, he has practices where he'll say, okay, Patrick Mahomes is so-called injured. He's out, and this person and this person. So we're going to bring in these people, and we're going to run these plays, without those people. And they just did a phenomenal job. So
And ball control is the name of the game. I mean, if you can do it, and I mean, it's almost like the playoff game where D Ford was offside.
Exactly.
It's kind of like, okay, that was a call late, in the game, and you wait a minute,
Right.
okay, and stuff. But it happened. That's football,
It
and
is.
that's any
I
sport.
mean, yeah,
and they
you
try to
don't- you
watch
didn't
it as
want
close as they can, but and they reviewed it, so it was
Right.
a
I
thing
mean,
that okay,
you didn't want them to call it, but it happens.
it happened. So
But-
that's
But the referees, everything was great about that game. I would rate it one of the top 5 Super Bowls, if not one of the top 3 Super Bowls
Yeah.
of all time.
yeah, it was
So-
up there. It kept you on the edge of your seat
It did.
throughout the game.
It did.
I mean, it was a seesaw battle, and I think Mahomes, with his desire to win,
Yeah.
just really pushed himself to where you think, wow. I mean, when he did that run of all things and stuff, I was like,
Yep.
okay. I
Yep.
mean, it's like adrenaline's flowing. I mean, we're,
Right, and-
we're going.
And the guys couldn't catch him.
No.
I mean,
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
exactly.
here's a guy that's got a bad ankle.
Right. Well, and
And-
here is an Eagles team that had one of the greatest sack totals in NFL history. Not just that year, not just this past year,
Yes,
but in
yes.
history. I mean, they were comparing them a little bit to the Bears in '85, and they did not even touch him.
And
once.
that's the thing too. So you can talk about that one call, but you look at, hey, our O-line had did their job.
Yeah,
They
did a
were
phenomenal
there.
job.
I guess they said he's hurt. We're going to defend our quarterback, and
Yep.
they were on it against, like you say, when you're put up against, nobody's talking about you, but you're going against the toughest defensive rush.
Right. Exactly.
So it's almost like the Rams in L.A. with the no-name offense. It's
Right,
like
right.
there's no names up here.
Nope.
Nobody knows them at all.
Nope.
But those guys were there.
Absolutely. So we are at halftime on the Any Given Show on KUAW. I will give you the phone number when we get back afterwards. So if anybody wants to call and have speak your piece or want to just say something to us, you can do that. So we will be back shortly after this quick break. All right, we are back for the second half of Any Given Sunday on KUAW. George Walker, DJ Scatter is running the show. I am running the microphone. Coach 24 is not here, but he will be here next week, and we will have full strength in our show for next week as we talk about Royals and the NCAA tournament and some of the players that Kansas City has either given up or have picked up, because now this Sunday at noon the NFL free agency frenzy will be starting. And just to let everybody know, turn your backs or move your clocks back an hour so you get an extra hour of sleep. So definitely do that. We spring forward. Okay, we'll see.
Yeah,
that's why I have you here.
Yeah, we're gonna lose some sleep on this
one.
one.
We're gonna lose sleep. Oh no,
that's bad.
That's okay, because later on when it's like 6:30, 7 o'clock, it'll be light outside. So that will be the good thing. So at noon on Sunday, they are going to have the free agency. Now, the one thing about the NFL free agency is that usually you do all of your bargainings. It's kind of like Black Friday on Thanksgiving. You buy all your sales. They are all going on within for Black Friday, it's like first 5, 6, 10 hours. Well, the NFL, their free agency is the first 24 to 48 hours. They're going to fly out the money and try to pick up their guy. So if by next Thursday we're talking about, let's just say, for example, Juju Smith-Schuster, he hasn't been signed yet, then that's not a good thing for him. Now, if he gets signed very quickly in the free agency market, then that means he got well paid, and that Patrick Mahomes and the Super Bowl helped him get that. But I just can't see that happening. I think, there are rumors out there that he is going to get a 4-year, $60 million contract for Juju, for the wide receiver. So I don't know. Somebody is desperate. Well, heck, you got the Jets that are desperate to get Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know what's going on with that. But say like Orlando Brown, he is going to be one of the top free agents. I believe he is number 2 ranked, and I'm not sure. I can't remember who the number 1 was, but he's going to be very, very wanted. But here's my thing: you have Lamar Jackson, and I have talked that about Baltimore not paying the top dollar for him because he hasn't been productive in the second half of the last 2 seasons. But he is a great quarterback. He's an MVP quarterback. Josh Allen cannot say that. Joe Burrow cannot say that. But people are treating him like a pariah, virtually. And I don't know what's going on. Now, we will find out this weekend, if people are going to be really interested in getting him, because he is a non-restricted franchise tag. So what that means is, like when Orlando Brown was a restricted franchise tag, then the Chiefs paid him a certain amount, and only the Chiefs could get him. Well, Lamar Jackson is free to negotiate with anybody. So, I mean, he can negotiate with the Chiefs or Buffalo or the Arizona Cardinals or whoever. They can negotiate with him. And so what Baltimore can do is they can, let's just say Team X, and I won't even describe a team. I'll just say Team X gets Lamar Jackson for X amount of dollars and this much guaranteed, and Baltimore can decide, do we want to go ahead and match that offer or go ahead and let that team take him, and then they get a compensatory pick for, and I want to say it's probably either a first or second round. Now, I know Lando Brown, if he signs with anybody else besides the Chiefs, then the Chiefs will get a third-round compensational pick. Do you know of any free agents you think right now that the Chiefs could possibly be interested in? Because right now the Chiefs have gotten rid of Orlando Brown. That's not happening. They let go of Frank Clark, even though they gave him a nice tribute leave, and there's and Juju Smith-Schuster. They haven't totally like kicked him off the team, but more than likely he's not coming back unless he signs a team-friendly deal.
Yeah, I heard talk of him for a year or two.
Yeah.
That maybe he'll get a 1 or 2 year offer anyway.
Is that you're talking about Juju?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'd heard. Well, we could use Aaron Rodgers as a good backup. we're going to be looking for a backup quarterback.
We're going to get rid of our left tackle, who did a decent job of protecting Patrick Mahomes, but we're going to pay $60 million to Aaron Rodgers just so he can back up Patrick Mahomes. That makes a whole heck of a lot of sense.
Well, hey, we want somebody good back there in case Mahomes ankle doesn't heal.
But so was Chad Henning. Chad Henning was good, and he was nowhere near.
He took him all the way down there and scored, man.
I'm telling you what.
I said that's one thing he can hang his hat on. He got a Super Bowl ring. He scored him a touchdown that year. I mean, he's. I think that guy for 13 years in the league.
Yep.
He at least went out with a base. And this is the time to go.
There you go. Absolutely.
It don't get any better than this. I've got a football. I scored a touchdown in a playoff game.
Yep. And he's got 2 Super Bowl rings.
2 Super Bowl rings. Hey, he can go back
and he can get Patrick Mahomes' autograph. Where
on the ball.
Impossible for me to go get it without paying him a huge amount of money, which is probably part of Aaron Rodgers' $60 million in order for me to do that.
Yeah, that is for sure. Now, I don't know offhand who's available on the free agent list to say
Well, I
who
know
we'd
right
go
now
for.
that a lot of people are talking about trading for DeAndre Hopkins, and I just cannot see the Chiefs getting a player that's on the wrong side of 30, and he really hasn't been productive the last few years. He had off due to the PED and injuries, but saying that, I mean, he was a great receiver 4 years ago, but that was 4 years ago, and a lot of people are talking about what they need to do to trade for DeAndre Hopkins, because Arizona still has his rights. I know Arizona is wanting to get rid of him the best they can, but I just don't see Kansas City doing that, unless the only way that I could see Kansas City doing that is if they give Arizona a minimal in return, and DeAndre Hopkins is willing to work that contract, because I believe he has, 2 years, $33 million. So, I mean, I think he gets paid $19 million this year. And
what kind of air do we have on our cap right now?
You know what? I don't know. I've heard different stories, but
Because with Frank Clark gone,
right, that took 21 million
yeah,
off.
that's going to be a
Orlando
chunk.
Brown, I mean, you don't have any money on him. Uh,
Yeah, you wonder what finances they're actually playing with there.
well, but here's the thing. I mean, the 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 salary cap is there and it is real, but I don't think it's that real. You know.
If they could structure a contract, if they wanted to spend 30
Mhm.
million,
Oh yeah.
because they could structure it out over time.
Yeah, I'm going to be a little outrageous. If they did sign Aaron Rodgers to that deal
Okay.
and they get 60 million, they could find a way to finagle the salary cap so they could still have him and have Patrick Mahomes, as the quarterbacks. And listen, people, it is not going to happen. Chiefs are not getting Aaron Rodgers. I am just making
Let's start that rumor out there. Yeah.
I am just making a point that they could find a way. They could find a way. You've got accountants and all that.
So you're saying we could find a way to pay $30 million?
Could, but why would they want to? I mean, if you're not paying these certain people, if you're not paying a left tackle, which right now is the most, I would say it's most important. Yes, Patrick Mahomes is 27 years old. He's still very, very young, but he's just dealt with a massive high ankle sprain.
Oh, yeah.
So the more he continues to play,
it's going to slow him down.
The more it's going to slow him down. So you're
scrambling becomes a harder thing.
You're going to need a left tackle to come in and protect him.
Yeah.
You may not totally need him, like a Trent Williams, or get the best tackle in the league. But eventually you're going to have to. And so, but we've got 11 picks in the NFL draft. So Brett Veach batted 1,000 in this last draft.
You think you could pick a starting tackle, though? I don't think you could do that.
Well,
I
think what you could do is to try to draft a very high pick, tackle that you think that can be good down the line, and then sign a tackle for like a year or two, to be and be his, kind of Alex Smith to Patrick Mahomes.
Either that, or can you use some of your picks as trade bait?
I don't.
But we're not picking that high, are we?
I don't think that would work very well. You have. I know one person said, "Why don't we get Tunzel from Houston?" And I'm like, No. I'm not giving up picks for Tunzel. And Tunzel is a pretty decent tackle. I would say he's in the top 10 in tackles in the NFL. But I'm still not quite sure to get him. But the one thing I will say is that I trust Brett Veach and Andy Reid and getting players because they have done a phenomenal job. I mean, I mean, look what they had. What was it, 700, 800 plays.
Well, how long had Reid been here?
Rookies this year.
Reid's been here 7 years?
He came in the year after they went 2-13. So I think he's here 10. I think he's been here 10 years.
Almost 10 years.
Because he was 14 at Philadelphia and 10 years here. So,
okay.
Yeah,
so
he came in 2013.
So they had a chance to build a team. Took them few years to really get it up there.
Mm-hmm.
If they work together like they've been, and they did not bad this year,
right?
They can keep that momentum going. You would think if they have anybody in the wings now already in that tackle position, or if you're looking for somebody brand new in that.
Well, if anything, they could put Tooney, the guard, the left guard, and put him at tackle until we can get somebody come in. But I still think they're going to try to get even younger than they were, and I believe they were like the 5th youngest team in the NFL. So I mean, when you get a young team, because think about it. Russell Wilson, remember when he signed that contract with Seattle after he went to the couple of Super Bowls? They didn't play very well, and a lot of times when you get the quarterback outside of Tom Brady, whenever a quarterback got that big dollar contract, the team did not play as well. And so Kansas City has been very fortunate and has done a phenomenal job of still playing very well and still being able to keep players and being able to draft players. That is the key, because the Jets have been drafting for years and hasn't done anything to
Cleveland has too.
Oh my gosh, Cleveland! I mean, Baltimore's owner is still angry at Cleveland for signing Deshaun Watson, and I guess that with Lamar Jackson, that's a little thing about that too, is that he, nobody really wants Lamar Jackson, but you wanted Deshaun Watson. And Deshaun Watson is virtually the same age as Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is younger than Patrick Mahomes. I think he will be 26 going into this year. I know that he was younger than Patrick.
Well, bringing in a quarterback into a situation, you've got to have usually, like you say, other than Tom Brady, you really have to have a organization that's getting ready to build something around there. It's hard to plug them in,
right,
and it all be there.
Right.
And especially if you spend a lot of money on them and stuff. Now, if you bring in from the draft somebody, that's different. Like Mahomes, they brought in, and it was there, but they didn't go out and spend money to get Mahomes.
No, they didn't.
And that's one of the ways that a lot of the teams are doing. You can try and buy that talent, but then it kind of affects the whole organization.
Right, like the Jets. And the Jets really did have they had a good nucleus of a team. They just didn't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
And that quarterback killed them a couple of games. I mean, the New England Patriots, they should have beaten the New England Patriots both times. But because they didn't have a quarterback, they just couldn't win. And so now they're going to have to sell the house. They're going to have to, do everything possible to bring in a quarterback, because
they think they're that close.
That's what the Jets are going to do, and they are going to bring Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, it's because they think they're that close that they want to do it. So they don't want to depend upon the draft or something like that, because they think they've got it.
Right.
They just need a quarterback.
Right.
That could be a mistake.
It is a huge mistake. Because even if you don't talk about Kansas City being the favorite next year in the AFC, you've got Buffalo. You've got Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You even have New England, because
they're going to be something to deal with.
Right. And you have Pittsburgh. You have Baltimore. You have other teams that are going to be better than the Jets. And I cannot see, the Jets, unless they just do that miraculous Cincinnati Bengals 2 years ago turnaround, where they surprised everybody and made it to the Super Bowl and came virtually a couple of plays away from winning the Super Bowl.
But that was with a youthful guy too.
Right. Exactly.
That wasn't with an old veteran.
Right. And Joe Burrow hasn't had his contract yet. So when they do that, how is that going to work out for his 3 wide receivers, who are considerably one of the best tandems in the NFL? I will give them credit. They have a great quarterback wide receiver tandem, which was even better than Kansas City. You just had a phenomenal quarterback that just made it work.
Oh yeah. That's they picked our defense apart.
Yeah, exactly.
Jalen Hurts, and our defense is one that sometimes can really fire themselves up when need be.
Yep.
They can give up some plays, but then at the same time they can all of a sudden stop somebody.
Hey, and they showed up. They showed up in the playoffs. All
Yes.
3 games: the Jacksonville game, the Cincinnati game,
I mean
and the Philadelphia game.
the
They showed
defensive
up.
touchdown was a big thing there.
Exactly.
That was a big thing. That was a momentum changer.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're getting ready to go down. It wasn't looking good.
No, it wasn't.
And that helped them be still in the game. So they come back, we're still in this game.
Right.
So we needed that.
Exactly, and so with the defense that performed, we're looking to try to get better and better. I would still like to see, like New England when they first started winning their first few games, their first few Super Bowls with Tom Brady in the early 2000s. Have like a number 1 to number 5 defense in the NFL, and working with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it will.
That could be fantastic.
Absolutely. So,
Now, what do you see on the basketball scene?
which one, the college or NBA?
Well, the NBA first.
Well, the NBA. I'm telling you what, Kevin Durant is. He is a. Oh my gosh, he is a massive diva. He can't even do a simple layup without twisting his ankle and being out for what? I think they said he's going to be out close to a month.
Oh my
Now,
goodness.
Phoenix did everything possible so they could bring in Kevin Durant. They got rid of all their good young youth nucleus players so they could try to get a championship game. And this guy is not even going to be able to play. And if they don't win the championship, they are going to be they're going to be what is that, SOL for the next couple of years.
Yeah, if you, like you say, when you sell the farm to get somebody. What do you think about LeBron being out?
LeBron James, ever since he broke Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record, look, he is a great, phenomenal person. I will not deny that. I will even join you in saying that. But right now, he's trying to be able to play with his son in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much more he can actually play.
And does that make you competitive when you're trying to do that?
Well,
I mean,
see,
and he's getting long in the tooth.
he is getting long in the tooth, but here, if he had a Michael Jordan type attitude, he doesn't have that Michael Jordan killer attitude. I mean, but there was only a handful in the lifetime. I mean, I would say Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, and maybe 1 or 2 other players. But I cannot say that LeBron James is one of those 2 or 3 players. But you just have to, you've got Boston right now that is rolling in the East, and you've got the Kings that are actually playing better than the Lakers. I mean, the Kings hadn't been good since they played the Lakers in the 2003-2004 NBA Finals, or not NBA Finals, the Western Conference Finals, that I was very upset because I really wanted the Kings to win so bad because they were from Kansas City and all that.
Yeah.
But I wanted them to win, and they ended up losing to on that Robert Horry ball, like, happy birthday to me, because did you remember that?
No.
They shot the ball. They were going for the rebound. The ball shot out to Robert Horry, who was at the 3-point line, and drilled a game-winning shot, and that's what caused the Lakers to go on to the NBA Finals, and the Kings never were the same after that.
Yeah, they've been the bad luck Kings. I tell you, it would be good to see them win a championship.
It would be. It would be very good.
They need that.
Now I'm going to say this real quick because we are up against the clock. Detroit Mercy, do not play another basketball game. I know that Antonio Davis is 3 points away from breaking Pete Maravich's record. And, if you could have done that in a decent amount of time, I would give you all the credit. But what Pete Maravich did and what you're trying to do, you're trying to get in a game as a 14-19 team. And just to do it, just to break a record that was very hallowed. I mean, it's very sacred and very virtually impossible, because he has been playing 5 years and he still hadn't gotten the record, but they're still trying to do that. So with that, with Coach 24, Darwin Penny, and DJ Scatter, George Walker, I am Brian Kress, the Awesome Voice. Be awesome, not angry, and you guys have yourself a great sports weekend.